think Jane's logging in right now.
Okay. That was fun.
All right. So just to catch you up, Deb, we did the roll call. I announced the next meeting is going to be May 6th at noon. And we made a motion to accept the agenda with flexibility. So now I'm going to make a motion for the approval of the March 31st meeting minutes.
Second.
I'll second. Or
sorry,
you
what are
second.
you-
I'm sorry. I can't hear you, Deb.
Cool. You can't hear me?
I can hear you now. Thank you.
Okay, so you said you're on the March 31st meeting minutes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Trustee Sierra, Trustee Sword.
Yes.
I'm going to make a motion to approve the April 1st meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Trustee Sierra, Trustee Sword.
Yes.
I'm going to make a motion to approve the April 7th meeting minutes.
Second.
Trustee Sierra, Trustee Sword.
Yes.
Yes. And then I'm going to make a motion to approve the March 2020 fiscal report.
It's not ready yet.
So do you want to just table that?
It could die for lack of a second, or we could table it if it gets a second. I don't know.
We'll just-
We can
Kill
just
it.
let it die. We can just let it die. There was no second.
I'm going to make a motion to post notices for special or emergency meetings of the Board of Trustees on the Clinton Township website and the Township Facebook page.
Second.
Trustee Sierra, Trustee Sword.
Yes.
Yes.
Just by way of a tiny bit of discussion on that or explanation on that, I just felt it was important for us to kind of start making better use of our technology and our people's time. With running around paper notices seem to be a bit of an archaic practice at this point. So hence the motion. Thank you.
And we're going to move on to discussion of the current fiscal environment.
Yeah, I put this on the agenda just because I've been doing some reading. I know when we looked at appropriations, we were right at the beginning of anything COVID starting to simmer and become sort of real. And we said at that time, we gave cautions, and Trustee Reardon was concerned about property tax collection, rightly so. And we've mentioned it at every trustee meeting since. This just is an environment, I think, where we need to be cautious, fiscally speaking. And I brought today just some facts and figures that I've been gleaning from some of my reading this week. I was on a call with the county treasurer and the county auditor this week as well, and they were disseminating some of this information. Some of this is from internet sources. So I just wanted to read you a couple of things with your forbearance. So this is from the IMF, the International Monetary Fund blog, and I've got citations for anybody who might need them later. I'll be happy to provide those. But the coronavirus pandemic will bring about the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression, the IMF predicted Tuesday. The fund admitted in a rare show of doomsaying that damage could be far worse than its projections, and that while there's some chance they could be positively surprised, that downside risks prevail. The organization's baseline expectation is for a recession far worse than the 2008 financial crisis, with global GDP contracting by 3% this year, and that's a drastic downgrade from the forecast of 6.3% growth that was given in January. It's 30 times worse than the economic decline in 2008. So the magnitude and speed of the collapse in activity that has followed the Great Lockdown is unlike anything experienced in our lifetimes, which I think we all know. But under the assumption that the pandemic and the required containment peaks in the second quarter for most countries in the world and recedes in the second half of this year, we project global growth to fall -3%, a downgrade of 6.3 percentage points from January, which will make this the worst recession since the Great Depression and far worse than the global financial crisis. The pandemic may not recede in the second half of this year, leading to longer containment periods, worsening financial conditions, and further breakdowns in global supply chains. In such cases, global growth will fall even further by an additional 3% in 2020. And if the health crisis rolls over into 2021, it can reduce the level of the global GDP by additional 8% compared to baseline. So it's an article talking about sort of world economy. And then this one is more US targeted from Axios Markets this morning. Big banks trade profits for coronavirus insurance. So JP Morgan, the largest US bank, added $8.3 billion to its reserves last quarter, more than 5 times what it held in the same quarter last year. So it goes on to explain how banks are hoarding cash, okay, which is always a recession measure. The bank's maneuvers to steel themselves for losses reflect their calculations that the $2 trillion economic relief bill, which includes direct payments to low-earning Americans, will not be enough to stave off widespread financial instability for everyday Americans and their employers. And then finally, an article that the Brookings Institute published on their blog this week. And this was a study of how income to cities and municipalities is structured and how your economic environment determines how hard and how quickly you're going to be hit by all of this. And essentially the discussion is whether your revenue comes mostly from income tax and retail or whether your revenue comes mostly from property tax. And what the article says is that people who have a revenue based on income tax and retail are going to get hit hard and fast because everybody stopped buying and, you know, unemployment spiking through the ceiling has hit those two revenue streams dramatically. And the article goes on to explain, interestingly enough, that property taxes will decline over time, revenues, mind you, from the dampening of the real estate market and from the lack of tax payment due to rising unemployment. What we know here in Franklin County already is that property tax is revenues are going to decline dramatically quickly too. When the Brookings did their study, 5 Ohio cities topped the list of who's going to be hit hard and fast. Columbus has the dubious distinction of being number 1. So we know that we're going to get hit from all sides. Our JEDZ and CETA funding, that's the income and retail base. Our property taxes, which are already the treasurer and the auditor are considering delaying collection for either 30, 60, or 90 days. They're trying to decide. That was the purpose of the meeting last week, was to get some input from townships. I did write them a letter talking about how we are really going to be hit from all sides. We're going to be hit from retail and income through our CETA and JEDZ funding falling. We're going to be hit by a delay in property tax. And then we don't even know what that will look like when it is finally collected. Already gasoline tax has got to be falling through the floor. We know what the price of gas is right now and the fact that nobody's buying it. So we're really in a peculiar environment that none of us have seen before. So forgive the, the reading piece there. We don't usually do that sort of thing here, but I wanted to really impress upon everyone that this is dramatic. Everyone is hoarding cash when it comes to larger organizations and institutions. And what I'm saying to department heads is that we should be too. Okay, we don't know what's going to happen when taxes will be collected. We don't know what will happen after the next collection after that. And we're very familiar with what happens with even small wrinkles when our revenue gets hit, as it did sometime last year, when an EPA fee that we weren't prepared for came out unexpectedly from our estimated resources. So I'm asking everybody. I'm certainly going to be looking at POs, but that's only part of the picture. Yet there's a lot of discretionary spending that goes on out there under a $2,500 limit that we have. There's a lot of stuff that can be done with Visa, and I'm just asking you to hoard your cash. That doesn't mean I don't want to see people taking care of our personnel and taking care of our residents and doing the things that we need to do to take care of everybody, to stay safe and all of that. But if it's discretionary, if it can wait, it should. Okay, so that was just my 2 cents on my feelings about it. Questions or other comments are more than welcome.
I appreciate that, Jane. In that meeting, did they touch on, without getting too deep into it, people that have like their property taxes and such escrowed into their mortgage? Do they have a percentage of what that looks like versus those who pay it quarterly?
Yeah, I think Deb was on the call as well, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the number that I heard was around 60% or a little less than 60% of property taxes are escrowed. And so that's a 40% of people then would be paying as an individual their taxes. There was conversation about whether we could get part of that and delay the other part to help people out with the out-of-pocket. And I think the answer to that is pretty much no, because once you start a tax collection, you've started a tax collection, you've incurred several costs for the county at that point. And so the sorting through or the separating of that was not something they were really looking at that point.
Gotcha. Well, thanks for your
Sullivan
diligence.
Our county treasurer, Sullivan Brooks, estimated 60% countywide. So I'm not sure, we don't have a within Clinton Township breakdown of how many people pay directly versus part of their mortgage payment. And that overall, as I said, March 20th, I think we will get through this year relatively stable, but even if life gets close to back to normal, what we've seen already is going to be impacting us at least 3 years into the future. So
Your light shut off on you.
motion sensor stuff, but it saves on energy bills.
It does.
Okay, so thanks for your consideration on that, everyone.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jane. All right, we're going to move on to committee and team reports. I'll start with a little bit about our produce market. Went super fantastic. I know that the counted number was somewhere around 238 cars, but we did miss quite a few due to language barriers and things like that. Did we ever find a poundage out, Chief Fraley, of how much produce we actually had?
I haven't yet, but I'm going to assume it's at least what we had last, because we did have some leftover. We had more vehicles. So
It was 11,000 pounds the time before, correct?
right.
Yeah. So that went well. Again, we'll have the dates up, but you can check the Clinton Township Fire Department Facebook page and the main web page of the township itself for the dates. We're doing the produce giveaways bi-weekly now through the end of May. So it won't be this Friday, but the following Friday. And then twice again in May from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Northern Lights Library branch. No income or zip code restrictions. That's important to highlight. We really encourage residents to come out and get free produce. Kind of trying to break that stigma of what a produce market is, and some people may be shameful. There's nothing to be ashamed of. We want to keep you out of the supermarket to keep you healthy, and come out and get some free fresh produce and help offset that cost to you and your family at this crazy time we're living right now. Do you want to add anything to that, Chief Fraley?
We had a great showing with volunteer staff. We greatly appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Residents also that were volunteering with us, along with Franklin County Public Health. BESA, a volunteer organization, had several people there, which helped us out quite a bit. Firefighters there, and CPD was taking care of our traffic again. So I thought it went really smooth. It was pretty cold, but we were able to get through that. And the next one on the 24th is looking like it's going to be better weather. So
Yeah.
hopefully we have more people come through, and the more people we have, the less we have to pack up. So we hope to see more people.
Absolutely. Come one, come all, tell your neighbors and tell your friends. Anybody else have committee reports, team reports?
I think you touched on this, Alina, but I just want to say folks don't need to be a resident of our township as well.
Yep.
Really,
Yep.
anyone. And if
Anyone.
you need to, you can pick up for a neighbor. I believe you just need to know their name.
Yep.
And have
There's a
their copy.
proxy. If there's a proxy form on Mid-Ohio's site that you can fill out if you're picking up for a neighbor, that way we can get them in pantry tracker correctly. That helps us with our numbers for Mid-Ohio for the amount of produce that we distribute throughout the year. But if we don't turn anybody away.
Okay, and we can link to that proxy form from Mid-Ohio. That'll
Sure.
be up in the notes.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll get that link to you.
Just had a question. Are we still working with a language interpreter at all to sort of get the message out in Spanish at least about some of these markets as well?
We are getting the flyers in Spanish and Somali also. Those have been forwarded to Rachel. I've put those on the fire department page, and Rachel has them also. So we're trying to get that info out there.
Excellent. Might even be worth a slide on our front sign at some point to get something out there in a different language.
And before we move on, one other big shout out was our road department. Saved a lot of backs last week. Thanks to Corey and Jason, they came out with the backhoe and the forks and helped us unload all that produce. They have no idea how much that was a help. It usually takes us quite a long time to get all those boxes unloaded. So you guys were a godsend that day. That was a great thing. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. I kind of squealed when I turned the corner and I seen them coming to unload the U-Haul. Thank you. All right. I'm going to move on to fire. Chief Fraley.
Yes, we would like to request a PO in the amount of $8,843.04. This is payable to Stryker for preventative maintenance program for heart monitors and CPR devices. This will be paid from 281-230-360.
So moved.
I'll second.
Trustee Sierra, Trustee Sword.
Yes.
Yes.
And just to put a little background to that, so that's a preventative maintenance program for about $140,000 worth of equipment. Basically, it replaces all parts and pieces for free if we have any damage, and also back. And it also gives us 20% off of any other items that we need to order from them, such as the cables for the life pack monitors and that type of stuff. So a couple of other items I just wanted to make sure was out there. Life Care Alliance, during the COVID-19 pandemic, their Meals on Wheels program, I think I talked about it a little bit in the last meeting, but they waived their income requirements for those over 60 years of age. And they can receive a week's supply of frozen food or a daily hot meal. Again, no income requirement. This is just trying to keep a vulnerable population at home, avoiding the store trips. For more information, they can call 614-278-3130. Again, that's 614-278-3130. Life Care Alliance Meals on Wheels is that program. And just yesterday, I had another program come forward that I thought was really nice. It's the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services. They developed a challenge that they've put out online. It's called Strive for 5. And the idea behind this is to have everyone reach out to 5 other individuals to check on them during the pandemic and to continue that contact for 30 days, which I thought was a great thing. So we've been promoting that on our social media and talking about it whenever we have a chance. And I believe that's going up on our township website and also our township Facebook page. And that's all I have.
Yeah, just real quick, Brian, I saw that on the news last night. They were promoting that, I think, on Channel 4, Channel 10, the 5 for 5. So that's hopefully that takes off pretty well.
Yeah.
Is there any way we can get that Life Care Alliance phone number and some kind of a short blurb up on our sign out front?
Yes, I can get with Jonathan after the meeting. I know that what I just said is actually going to be in our newsletter that was added just before that went out too. But yes, I'll meet with Jonathan and see what we can do about the sign out front.
Is that all you had, Brian?
That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Jones?
Yes, I'd like to ask for a motion to request a purchase order in the amount of $18,635.86 payable to Buyers Collision Center from Fund 2081-210-323. This is for the 3 cruisers that were damaged during a pursuit. And Otarma has already sent us the payments for that. It's just a process for a purchase order so that can make that payment.
So moved.
Second,
Trustee Zero, Trustee Sword.
yes.
Yes. Do you have anything else, Chief Jones?
Just a couple items here. I'd like to give a shout out to High Bank Distillery in Grandview. They donated a case of the hand sanitizer. Also, their 99-cent store in Amos Center donated 2 gallons. We're going to help the road crew. I got Corey some of that. And also to Grace Haven over on Carl Road. Got some of the officers here Easter baskets. So I'd like to give a shout out to them as well.
That's awesome.
Excellent. Thank you.
Public Works, do you have anything to add?
No, I don't really have any new business this week.
Thank you.
Thanks, Corey.
Do we have any other items? Appreciations? I'll go ahead and start with appreciations. I just want to touch back on all of the wonderful volunteers we had for the produce market. Again, shout out to the road crew for saving our backs, getting all those big pallets out of the back of that U-Haul. And all of the inter-office people that help kind of keep everything running behind the scenes, all of the Facebook posts, all of the web updates. You guys are great. Every time I've had to ask for anything, it's been done really quickly. It's greatly appreciated. Just wanted to give you a quick shout out.
Yeah, thanks, Alina. I don't think we can say enough really about the level of collaboration going on among township employees right now. It's just really so appreciated. And I think if our residents are on the end of receiving excellent services, but they don't see this part. So thanks, everybody.
I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thanks, everybody. Stay safe.